Welcome in. This is Now and Next. I'm Dave Trafford. Hey there. Welcome into this special edition of Now and Next. I'm Dave Trafford. This past week, we got the news that Lloyd Robertson was the CTV national news anchor for decades, passed away. And, the whole country took note of that. I mean, and that's remarkable, considering, the position that he had, not only in the media, but in the lives of Canadians. And yes, he's been away from the anchor desk for the better part of 15 years and died at the age of 92. But he was still active and in the community and very visible and supportive. And if you read or heard any of the tributes to him, every time he reached out to somebody in or outside of the media, it was always in support of what they were doing and encouraging. And so over my career, I've had the opportunity on several occasions to meet Lloyd, to talk to him, and certainly at the RTDNA conferences over the years, where the news directors would gather annually. And Lloyd was a fairly regular attendee. He'd be in and out, as was Peter Mansbridge and Kevin Newman in the day when they were all anchoring the national newscasts in Canada. And the one word that was always associated and continues to be associated with Lloyd is trust. He was the most trusted voice in Canadian media, Canadian news, just generally in Canada. So it's kind of an interesting thing when we look at, how we focus on doom scrolling and all of the headlines that command our attention and distract our attention, and we mistrust the things that are being said. I think it's an important reminder of the role that media should be playing, can be playing, and particularly local media. I first met Lloyd when I was at CFRB. Our studios were at Yonge and St. Clair. He had come in to make some appearance on the morning show, and he walked into the newsroom, and there were introductions all around. But he already knew me based on having listened to me on the radio, and that shocked me. It was terrifying to think that the great Lloyd Robertson paid any attention to what I was doing in the newsroom. But that's the kind of guy he was, right? And he knew the details of the stories. He understood where we're coming from. He was engaged. And he was always offering words of encouragement. But after his retirement, I had the opportunity to talk to him because they, in Markham, had decided that they wanted to honor Lloyd in his retirement. And so they named a park after him. And I got to talk to him about that one bright weekend morning, probably a Saturday morning, I think, in July 2018. And Lloyd made time for us to talk less about himself, typically, than about the community and how important it was for him to be honored with a park in Markham. And he put it right up there with the Order of Canada. Have a listen. It really does tell you a whole lot about the guy who is and was Lloyd Robertson. Rest in peace. It's a beautiful day in Toronto, in the GTHA, in fact. All we have to offer you is sunshine. So if you are out Markham Way today, it's probably a great opportunity to get outside and enjoy the great outdoors, good weather. But drop by because they are going to unveil the plaque. I'm assuming there'll be some kind of signage or a plaque for Lloyd Robertson Park in Markham. And Lloyd joins us now. Good morning, Lloyd.
Good morning, Dave. Yes, it is a great day for going to a park.
Well, congratulations, by the way. This is kind of a cool thing to sort of be recognized by the community, and I think rightly so.
Well, it is kind of cool, but, it's not about ego stroking for me. I mean, I've had awards, as you have, from our peers in the broadcast industry, and they're nice to have. But this is something different and something very tangible because, you can go there and sit on the bench and watch the kids play in the playground, that kind of thing. It's just a wonderful experience and a great piece of legacy to pass on. And I feel that this is something that in my view, gets right up there with the awards after the Order of Canada because it's just that good a feeling about it.
So is Lloyd Robertson going to make regular appearances at Lloyd Robertson Park?
No, I don't think so. By the way, it's not a big park, Dave. It's a corner park.
Well,
but it has a substantial amount of room in it, and I think I'll be there today for the unveiling. I should tell you, by the way, that I did not even know about this until a young woman by the name of Michelle, who works as Wendy Freeman, and you know her name. She's president of CTV News, works as her executive assistant, came up to me and said, "Lloyd, is there a park in your name in Cornell, this development on Markham, east of Ninth Line?" And I said, "No, I don't know anything about it." And she said, "Well, it's there. My friend walks by it every day. Her kids play in there, et cetera, et cetera." And finally, she came back to me about a month later and said, "Oh, it's okay. The sign is gone." I said, "Well, there you go. There was nothing to it in the first place." About a month after that, I got a call from the mayor of Markham, Frank Scarpitti, saying, "Lloyd, would you come to an event we're having and MC it for us?" So I did that. I'd done a few for him. And at the end of it, he said, "Oh, by the way, come to the stage. We have something to give you." And it was a mock-up of the sign in the park. And indeed, he said, "We would like to name a park after you." And so that's how I knew about it. But nothing before that. So it came as a total surprise, but a pleasant surprise.
Very nice. Well, and we were just talking earlier about, you can't take the boy out of the newsroom, apparently, or the newsroom out of the boy, because we had mentioned your brush with, I guess, a collision on the DVP. It was back in March. We've just got a bit of a sampling of, you back in the saddle here with Cam Woolley's microphone.
George, Lloyd was on the way to... That's right, George. Lloyd was on the way to say goodbye to Steve this morning and became involved in the crash. Police officers told me first they thought our senior anchor here was reporting. They didn't realize he was in it. Lloyd, I got to hand the mic over to you. Can you explain to George what happened in the crash?
Sure. Okay, George. I was traveling south on the Don Valley Parkway between Eglinton and Don Mills, and I was coming along about 100K, no more, and bang, I spun out. And I spun out because I was hit right here. This was the point of impact at the back end. And I'm
thinking, Lloyd, we're going to package that up, and that's good Charlie Edwards Award material, I'm thinking. Good spot news stuff.
It was scary. I
bet
one that day. I really did.
Yeah, I can't. And just kind of minding your own business and heading down the parkway and bang.
Well, Dave, that is the thing with this kind of accident. I was there in the center lane. I was beginning to think about pulling over into the right-hand lane because I was going down Richmond Street to Queen 999 Queen, where the CTV headquarters is. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, bang, and I am spinning. The car is spun out of control, and I'm banging against the median, then I'm spinning back, and I'm hitting a cube van, knocking it over, and finally the car comes to a stop. It happens so fast. And when it stopped, I thought, okay, my first thought was, is there any more? Is this it? And then I got out because I knew I had to get out and looked at the damage around me. But it was a great feeling just to be able to stand up and know that you're in one piece. and a fellow came running to me and said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yes." And what happened? Because I couldn't see what hit me. The young woman who was driving the car behind me, who had cut in between the two of us and tried to pull out and hit me in the progress, she had also spun out and was facing north on the southbound parkway. Mm-hmm. So it was a scary moment. And I realized afterwards that I was very lucky to be able to stand up and walk away from it. Well, I had a sore back for a couple of weeks afterwards, but that was all that came out of it for me.
I was going to say we're all glad that you kind of walked away from that one, and but it was just kind of fun to see you kind of get back and work the muscle again, and it doesn't really go away. And I'll tell you, I've said this before. I had the opportunity. We met, I guess, for the first time. You had dropped into the studios when we were up at Yonge and St. Clair.
Yes.
And I was, Lloyd Robertson's coming. Lloyd Robertson's. You were probably going to do the morning show. And you came by, and I introduced myself. And the most frightening part about the conversation was you not only acknowledged me, you acknowledged the story I had been doing recently. And I thought, oh, my God, Lloyd's been listening.
Well, I'm a big listener to News Talk 1010, Dave, and I've admired your work and heard you for years. And I trust you're enjoying this gig of the weekends on the mornings. It's a great one to have.
It is. And, if you've got a Saturday or a Sunday morning you want to drop in and spend some time co-hosting on the show, we would love to have you come and join us. So.
Well, thank you, Dave. That's very kind. And I may do that because while I'm not up that early on the weekends, Well, if it's weather like this, you need to be up. It's so glorious.
There you go. Well, enjoy the day today, Lloyd. Thanks for joining us, and enjoy the park ceremony today.
Yeah, thanks very much, Dave.
The great Lloyd Robertson, former anchor at CTV. And you kind of meet the people that, you gush about. And Lloyd would be one of those guys for us around here. And that is an interview from the archives, July 2018, with the great Lloyd Robertson. Thanks for listening. I'd be curious to get your feedback, any thoughts you've got on Lloyd, and you can leave them there, or you can email me at dave@davetrafford.com. Otherwise, just leave us a comment, and let me know what you think about the state of media, whatever it might be, but certainly in the context of the passing of the great Lloyd Robertson. That'll do it. It's Now and Next. I'm Dave Trafford. Enjoy your week.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.